teach students how to grow financing so that you could start up your own business, or you could go the advanced route of chemical analysis. I don't know, man, like, it might sound stupid because I feel like nobody else could kind of empathize with this feeling, but for me personally, when I think of like an extension of me to some extent, and I know that might sound stupid, but with it having helped me like before cancer and allowing me to have a good time without being super out of it or being drunk all the time, I think it helped me there as well as to kind of become a little wiser. And then building on to the whole medicinal aspect of it, I got to see marijuana in a way to where it's not just getting high. It's kind of like I'll get out of chemo and literally I won't want to eat. I would go 4 to 5 days without eating food. Like if I wasn't smoking, I'd be throwing up every day, maybe a couple times a day. I'd feel sick. I wouldn't want to do anything. I'd have headaches. My bones would be hurting. But if I smoked, all of that would be remedied. And sure, like, my stomach might hurt a little bit, but it would not be anything comparable to before. And now that I've finished up with chemo, I've kind of just been able to analyze all of the effects I've had with it, like, either in a recreational use and a medicinal use, and it makes me want to learn all about it and then grow it and, like, try and spread, like, what I can do throughout that industry, help people like find remedies to people's pains, like try and create books or catalogs or literature in general to try and help people find what would work best for them, and generally just kind of propose an opening, so to speak, for people who are against weed to actually get a real knowledge about it and see what it is without them just listening to the biases their parents or peers have instilled in them.
Though, dude.
Yeah, like, I don't know, a lot of people sit here and they're like, oh, well, I like pot because, you know, it makes me high and it smells nice, so let's go grow some plants because I think that'd be fun. But for me, like, I might not enjoy every aspect of growing it, but, like, I want to learn everything about it, man. Like, I want to know every last ounce of information the drug has, and I want to utilize that to try and better my life and other people's lives, you know, simultaneously.
Bro, I love what you just said, Mark. Like, that shit is so real, bro, because, like, I'll be real, like, you just said what every fucking pothead in my mind says. Like, dude, I just want to get fucking stoned, man, so, like, you know, I'm gonna grow some fucking marijuana, fuck anything, fuck everyone who disagrees, fuck yeah, weed. Like...
I mean, like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Yeah, I am that stoner, too. I like the way it smells. I like the way it looks.
Oh, dude, I do, too.
Like
I love
the way it makes
weed
me
smell,
feel.
dude. I don't let anyone smoke in my car, but, like, if you would spark a blunt, like, I mean, I'm not gonna, like, smoke and drive, but, like, if we're, you know, my car's parked and shit, you want to light a blunt in my car, I'm down.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, my mom, for example, hates the smell. Says it's too pungent, smells like
But she smokes cigarettes. Are you for real? Them things reek, dude. The underside of my nutsack after a workout smells better than a burning cigarette, bro. Fucking
like,
gross,
me personally,
dude.
The smell of weed brings almost this feeling of, like, relaxation.
Nature,
and, like,
to me, it just smells great.
Comfortability to me. It makes me feel relaxed and, like, anxiety-ridden. I just feel really calm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it varies, because, like, I've had it... It's funny you brought up the driving, though. I was talking to my math teacher the other day, and she said, and I don't know how much I believe it, because she is a teacher, but she said that she's never smoked pot in her life. That she has never touched it, and that's just because she grew up in a very Christian family, and it's never been something she's been into because, like, education was what she wanted to do and didn't want to taint that. So she asked me, like, because I've been very open with my peers and teachers that I smoke weed because I've had cancer. Like, of course I'm gonna go smoke weed.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna say shit about it. Like,
Yeah. So she asked me what it did for me on a medicinal level, and I explained it to her. And to that, she then asked, well, could you drive a car? Have you driven a car inebriated before? And I said, well, this may bite me in the ass, but yeah, like, I've driven a car under the influence of it, and I think that for me, it might not be that grueling of a task because my mind is used to the way that marijuana makes it feel. So I'm used to being able to kind of work around whatever intoxications it does give. For someone like you, though, who's never smoked, it might hit you really hard, and you might be too intoxicated to drive a car. So I guess it varies on the person and their tolerance. But I will agree with her that that it does intoxicate you to the extent that you may not be impairing your motor functions to where you are really out of it.
No, just reaction
but you will
time.
be impairing. Yeah, I did say reaction time. I said you might have a delay of like a millisecond or maybe a second maximum.
Yeah, like if you had to be forced to slam on brakes, there might be an issue.
You might hit a car,
maybe,
assuming that the car was close to you.
Exactly, and that's rare. Like but no, I've driven high before. If anything, the only reason you're an unsafe driver because your bitch ass is doing 15 miles under the speed limit.
Yeah,
fucking,
right?
bro, every time I've driven high, I'm sitting here with I'm at 10 and 2, my nigga, like both hands on the wheel, fucking driving with 5 mirrors, even though there are only 3 in the cruise control. Because if I don't set the cruise control, I won't even get to the speed limit, my dude. So,
dude,
I'm telling you, bro.
I'm similar in some aspects, man. Like, I swear, I'll be driving sober and I'll be going 5, maybe 10 over the speed limit. I get in that car stoned and it's like, Mark,
just
you
cruising.
Don't fucking go over
like,
the speed limit, or that cop back there is gonna take
your
ass to jail,
and that minivan is a fucking cop too. That minivan behind you, it's a police officer, bro. Oh,
everybody's
I hate
a fucking
that
cop.
shit. Everyone is a cop, dude. Dude, bro, I be getting paranoid. I can't drive high because I get so paranoid, bro. Because to me, every fucking one is a cop, dude. Everything is a fucking police officer, and I hate that shit, dude. It kills me.
My mom used to, like, I don't think my mom really worries about me, like, smoking and driving because she knows I'm pretty safe with it. But, like, when I was going through chemo, I'd get medicine like lorazepam, and lorazepam's basically a very weak version of Xanax. And if I took that, she wouldn't let me drive the car. And I agree with that. Like, it definitely intoxicates me way more than weed does, even at the 1 milligram pill I'm taking. Like, I don't know, dude.
Of course,
or
dude.
a hydrocodone, like, that intoxicates you a lot more. And the fact that people will go out and drive on prescription medication that, let's say, is a downer that makes, like, it kind of suppresses your central nervous system or your respiratory system too. Those kind of drugs are dangerous to be driving with, you know? Like, that's the same as driving on alcohol. But for something like weed that is such a, like, weak depressant, I wouldn't say that it's bad unless, like, you are driving in situations that are very fast-paced and you need to be on your toes.
Agreed.
I don't know if I told you, Rob, but I'm doing this paper. It's called
Yeah, you told me. Yeah, and you were doing a lot of the more so real ideas, positive and negative, of marijuana. Like, to not, like, really do, like, a biased reporting, but, like, an honest paper, which I'm all down for. Because I personally, I think there are a lot more benefits to marijuana than there are negatives. I think it's like anything. It's just, you know, it's based on how the individual uses them. And, you know, marijuana, I think if used properly and maturely and correctly, I think it's the safest recreational drug if you want to have fun and use it like that. I think it's a great medicine. I think it's a great antidepressant. For people who are suffering from anorexia and cancer, I think it's a great way to get people to eat. But then again, is also your fucking retards who just want to smoke bud because they smoke bud and, you know, oh, you're a bitch, man. It takes me 4 blunts to get high. You got them fucking retards who just think it's cool to blow O's a day. And I think those are the retards that give marijuana, like, a really bad name. And, you know, then there are those guys, if you're like that, and then they get pissed at you for calling them out. But the truth makes people angry, so I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah.
The silence in this party is real. Motherfuckers like, damn, yo, Robbie, like, boy, I'm that pothead who blows an O a day. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, this guy.
If I were to be real with you, I'd say during my time with chemo.
That's different, though. Like, I don't think anyone can judge you. Like, nigga, you're on cancer, bro. Blow an O a day. Ain't nobody gonna say a fucking word. I wouldn't. I'd buy you an O a day if I had the money.
There's an elaboration I want to make because I didn't see it this way until after the fact, and I didn't realize how malicious of a lifestyle it was until after. But when I look back on the way that I was treating life during my chemo treatment, it was quite like I had a drug abuse problem. And maybe not to the extent of like,
Wow, that's
oh, I
mature enough.
need
That's
this.
mature to you, like, to admit something like that, dude. Damn. Did you really?
It's not to Yeah, it's not to the extent where I'd wake up every day and it's like, holy fuck, I need something. But like I'd wake up every day and I'd be sitting there like, damn, man, like I don't want to be like in today unless I'm fucked up and not thinking about what my life is. And that was for multiple reasons, whether it be for the fact that like I woke up every day feeling like I was sick and feeling shitty and wanting to throw up and not wanting to eat, all the way to I was depressed and anxious because I was pretty much set on a 9-month like jail sentence to a hospital. I wasn't allowed to go outside and, you know, stay in the sun without risking getting second-degree burns all over my skin. You know,
Yeah.
like, that's damning in itself. That means I can't even go outside without wearing sunscreen. You know how stupid that is? That's being in, like, my doctor said I couldn't be in the sunlight, direct sunlight, for more than 15, 20 minutes at a time. If I was in a car, I had to keep my arms and hands or any exposed skin away from the windows.
That's crazy, dude.
There's that. I was anemic, so if I got poked or I had a cut, I would bleed for 5 or 10 minutes because like my body just couldn't clot the blood. Getting sick, oh my god, that's the easiest thing. You might go to work, you might forget to wash your hands and eat some food, and your body can fight off any infection it gets. Not me. If I'm even in the same room with somebody who's sick, I'm most likely going to get sick. When my brother got sick, I had to wear a face mask inside my house so that I wouldn't get the airborne germs he had.
That's fucking out
I
there,
constantly had like I had chronic bronchitis to some extent where like I had constant nasal drip and like I'd have phlegm and like mucus in my lungs and it made me cough up like phlegm all the time. But that's probably also from smoking. But like I just made it through every day where it's like, damn, there's a drug to do? Alright, let's go fucking do it. Who cares? I'd be getting as fucked up as I could, as much as I can, on anything I could pretty much. And in retrospect, that's a very, very dangerous, like, hand grenade to be playing with, because you could be sitting there at that moment and thinking, I just want to get fucked up, I won't have a problem with this in the future. And you're going to wake up one day and be realizing, holy fuck, I didn't think this through enough, I do have a problem. And I'm fortunate enough to say that maybe the only drug I do have a problem with right now is weed. But I wouldn't consider that a problem because it's not like weed's really damning my life. If I was like sitting here saying I want to drop out of high school, I don't want to do anything but smoke weed, sure, that would be bad. But at least I've taken the passion that I've gotten from weed and the kind of endearment I have for it, and I'm willing to do something productive with it.
I'm not saying shit. I mean, it doesn't seem weird to me, bro. Whatever opinion you have about that shit, bro, like, I mean, who the fuck is anyone else to judge, dude? Like, unless they've had cancer. I mean, bro, I come from an I experience, you know what I'm saying? Like, if someone has experience in something that you don't, like, and this is where, like, you know, being an adult, you know, comes in. Like, a lot of, you know, kids don't want to listen to adults, you know, but it's like, bro, if they've got experience in something and you don't, you know, shut your fucking mouth, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, Mark, I don't think anyone who judges you for, you know, coming to whatever consensus you've came to with weed or drugs, with marijuana, dude, like, I mean, unless they've had cancer, they can suck your dick, dude. That's how I feel personally. Like,
I appreciate that.
Bro, like, it's funny you mentioned that, bro. I was just talking about you the other day, like, you know, Mark, you're being that young, dude, and getting news like that, like, bro, cancer, dude, like, motherfuckers don't realize, like, you don't understand how feeble life is, and like, you know, how, you know, like, it's just something we all take for granted, you know, like, you know, you don't know, you might not wake up tomorrow. I mean, you probably will, but, you know, there's a chance that you won't, and until that chance hits your ass, you don't think about shit like that. But once it hits you, dude, I couldn't even imagine the emotions that, especially being young and going through, you know, you know, especially that age, you know, that age.
Yeah.
Combined with it, thinking you're not going to make it to 18, bro, like, on top of the family issues you were already having, Mark, I mean, it's good to see you here,
you know
dude.
What I'm
like,
saying?
No, I mean, bro, a lot of kids their age, and especially nowadays, I mean, I know some people that might have committed suicide. Like, I'm telling you, dude, like, I know people who've killed themselves for less. I mean, for real. Like, so, I think you're really strong for making it through that, bro. And I hope somebody has complimented you and just something, dude. Like, I think you're strong, dude, for doing that. I know a lot of people who would have failed. Maybe even myself. I fear death. So who knows?
I'll say this. I had a very selfish thought when I was being diagnosed, and it was because when it came down to the last couple, like, I'll call them procedures, because they did a couple where, like, they cut my knee open while I was awake and tried to take a bone sample, or not a bone sample, a skin sample, like, while I was awake and watching them do this. So, when they did that, I was like, damn, like, this is probably cancer, because, you know, they're not going to need to be doing this if this is just a random tumor that's, you know, benign. And at that point, I was pretty much already okay with the idea of getting cancer, but I had already told myself if I got cancer, I was going to die. I convinced myself before it even happened. I was like, well, let's say that I get cancer. That's the final kick in the balls I'm really willing to have during life, and I'm willing to give up after that. And if that means letting my friends and family be sad, well, so fucking be it. Because I think in the end of the day, my well-being and happiness and, you know, state of living needs to be adequate for me, and not, you know, I shouldn't be living my life trying to make others happy. This needs to be something for me. So when I got the call and they said, like, you know, you have this cancer and you'll be fine. That's the big part for me at first that was damning. I was like, wow, like, you couldn't have added anything else but a spit in the face by saying I'm gonna live. Like, really? So that sparked some depression. And I will say this 100%, if any of you two have the misfortune of getting cancer, do whatever you need to do to smoke. Like, I'll just say this, man. They're going to hand you a literal armada of pills, and they're going to be expecting you to take those every day, all day long, and you'll be living on schedules, like, of taking antibiotics or anti-nausea medicine, and the anti-nausea medicine they give you isn't going to be anything comparable to weed. Like, weed is just a better option all around.
I wouldn't doubt it, dude.
Yeah, and I'd say that if it weren't for weed, I probably would have done something rash. Like, I've told friends this, but, like, if I'd, say, gone to school during my treatment, if I had the option, and somebody was like, and I was being teased about having cancer by some kid, I mean, I could see myself realistically snapping and just shooting up the school. I wouldn't do that now, mind you, but, like, in that moment, pushed to the wrong, like, place, I totally could have done it. Or I could have killed myself. Like, anything, man. And the fact that I had weed to, you know, sit there and kind of help me sift through those negative emotions was like, it was almost like breathtaking to see it happen.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Do you mind if I read you some of my iSearch, Rob? Because I think I have a very strong intro. Alright, it is kind of lengthy, so just bear with me here. So, let's start at the beginning. Marijuana, the sticky icky, the devil's lettuce, reefer. This menacing drug has been portrayed as a very malicious drug with the likes of heroin, LSD, magic mushrooms, or cocaine all over the world for well over 50 years, especially in countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, and Canada. People have been arrested and incarcerated due to their association or possession of the heinous Mary Jane. Stigmas have developed about the people who use it as well, how they may be stupid stoners, too lazy and too hungry to do anything but watch television until passing out, or that they do nothing with their lives, going nowhere but a dead end. Or during the 60s era Nixon presidency, when he created the Controlled Substances Act and conveyed the message that the Negroes were the source of why marijuana is bad, that they are tainting the white women of America with pot. From this stemmed a lot of stereotypes, wives' tales, and instilled beliefs about marijuana that are generally just untrue, with outrageous claims that marijuana can cause lung cancer or that it has more addictive properties than heroin, all the way to that marijuana makes you less intelligent. Some beliefs that my own mother put onto me from what she was taught were the likes of the aforementioned examples. She told me that it's a drug, that I'm not allowed to live in her house if I'm using it, or that if she caught me with it, I'd see a life lackluster of privileges. Little did she know that I would get cancer and would end up using the drug she's ranting about. In March of 2017, I was diagnosed with desmoplastic small round cell tumor, and that sparked my true passion to learn about marijuana, which is a very aggressive abdominal cancer, ultimately resulting with a medically induced jail sentence to a hospital and 9 months of intensive chemotherapy, where I would switch off from staying 5 days in the hospital to staying overnight in the hospital, and these cycles switched off every 2 weeks, as well as a total of 3 surgeries before having gone into remission. During this 9-month plot of time, I began using marijuana as a medicine, and saw its truly beneficial side, its medicinal side, its fun side, and its overall effects. Now, I, like most other teenagers, had tried marijuana before that point in time. However, I was blinded to the true benefits that cannabis withholds before having gotten diagnosed with cancer. After my chemotherapy, I would be nauseous, foggy-headed, tired, lethargic, exhausted, devoid of any desire to eat, and as if you were under the weather. My immune system would roller coaster all the time and leave me quite susceptible to all-encompassing bacteria in my environments. Quite quickly, I started leaning on the shoulder of marijuana to try and help me with my side effects from chemo. From what I'd heard and seen from most everyone, I figured that it was worth a try. I realized immediately that after ingesting this drug, this plant, that it was helping. Instead of feeling deprived of all energy, I felt alive again, where I wasn't constantly wanting to lay around and exist. Instead, I wanted to enjoy life, and the second chance that I had at it. I wasn't sick anymore either. My once upset stomach quickly settled back to normal, even with a bit of an appetite to follow suit. At first, I had no interest in trying to learn more about this topic, but I quickly
Fuck
realized
is going
that it
on?
is quite an interesting drug. To be having these kind of effects all in one centralized form of medication, rather than the armada of drugs and pills that my doctors tried to make me guzzle down. At least the marijuana was natural, that being the seed which sprouted into a flourishing animosity to learn about everything cannabis has to offer. Upon researching my topic, I came across a bit of pushback by multiple sources that were telling me how bad marijuana is. But after giving my personal research a bit of time, I learned about more of its medicinal effects, rather than its societal effects, coming to the conclusion that it truly wasn't that bad, and that even something as innocent as cough, it had a place in medicine, yet all of my peers, family, and even adults around me frowned upon this drug. From this realization, I knew immediately that this was a topic that I wanted to do more research into and publish some sort of literature that could give a guidebook to those searching for facts as well as opinions so that they can then come to their own personal opinion on marijuana. I didn't want people who had their parents' beliefs instilled into them to make a decision on the plant, but rather provide them with my information, my experience, and try to let them form their own opinion. No warping or facts or data to fit my claim. What are the overall effects of marijuana on the human body, good or bad? This question is what planted the seed for me searching for everything that marijuana can do to the human body. Regardless of whether the effect is positive or negative, I found this question to be rather perfect in nature because the question is devoid of something that is going to cause bias in your response, and rather force me to go in search of all the answers, these of which are factually based, and hopefully devoid of opinion or bias that would otherwise taint the answer that I would receive, and by extent taint the jurisdiction that my reader will ultimately make about the plant. Now, I will state clearly that I do hold bias in regards to whether or not marijuana is a good or bad thing. This is primarily because I have experienced the true medicinal side of the plant and know that it is not as bad as my peers have made it out to be. But to me personally, I think that marijuana is a good thing to those of whom which may benefit from it. I believe that cannabis has a place in medicine without contesting such a statement. It has been shown to help people with cancer, AIDS, as well as Crohn's disease, which is shortening the list quite drastically from what it can actually help. That's what I've gotten so far.
Damn, Mark, that's really in depth,
Sounds
dude.
like a killer paper, bro.
It really does, dude.
It's gonna knock the fucking socks off my teacher when he reads this.
Yeah, that's impressive, dude.
But that's the kind of passion I have for it, man. Like, I enjoyed writing that, and I don't like writing papers.
You can hear that you enjoyed. Well, you always enjoy something that you're writing for. It goes back to the experience thing. You always enjoy something when you're experienced with it, and you can hear the love and passion in that paper. I even like the
Yeah,
opening of it. Hey, the devil's lettuce reefer, you know?
yeah, that, see, I
Hey
wanted to
guys,
have
what the
something
fuck?
that would really snag my audience in, and I figured that using lingo that a lot of people would know
You guys
would
are about
really
to be
get
done.
them, and that it'd be interesting to kind of give a little history on it and why it's viewed so negatively, and then I wanted to segue into how I felt about it and like what my reasoning for writing this paper is and like the why I have this kind of like compassion for the drug and like why I'm so enamored by it. And I think I've achieved that to some extent.
Yeah, that's it's great, dude.
Rob, I'll send you the whole presentation when it's finished.
Okay.
It's kind of funny, man. Like I've read that intro to a couple people, and they've all said that they want to see the finished product.
Yeah. I am. I was listening intently. It was definitely the way you've written it, it's definitely engaging. It makes I mean, it just I don't know, it made me want to listen. So,
See, one thing that nobody else in my grade, I don't even think my school is going to be able to do, is they will never be able to replicate the credibility that I'll be garnering from this paper. I will have so much credibility to my name in this paper just from me having cancer, me actually having used weed, and me having seen its recreational and medical benefits. Like, that's something that not everyone can give you. It's such a
yeah.
valued piece of information that, like, I think people really kind of lean towards an author a lot more and feel more impacted by it when their authors actually experienced it, you know?
Of course,
Think
yeah.
about Martin Luther King Jr. If Martin Luther King Jr. was just a black guy who was advocating for rights, he may not have had as much support as he did because he'd been arrested before and he'd done controversial things to try and help his fellow race, you know? His speeches were more impactful because he had experienced that kind of hardship that other people of his kind were experiencing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'd love to kind of just grow marijuana, make my own business, and then I'd like to establish, not, no, establish is too kind of a word. I want to emblazon my name upon the marijuana industry in bright neon fucking letters. I want people to know my name, or at least know the product that I make, because it's that good. I think I could do it.
Well, I like what you got so far. So,
See, I just don't know what to do in regards to, like, because I have to give, like, an in-class, it's not like, it's like an in-class activity. But I don't know what to give my class as far as an
bro, roll a blunt and
in-class
smart
activity.
the fuck up.
Dude, honestly, okay, not gonna lie, I thought about bringing raw rolling papers and oregano and teaching my class how to roll. But I'm not sure if I could get away with that. You know what I'm saying?
Probably not.
I mean, oregano's not illegal, and I don't think rolling papers are illegal to possess under 18. But
They're not, but
that's a touchy area.
your teacher would be the one who's like, "Oh, so we're learning how to roll blunts in my classroom." Like, I don't really. I mean, I can't speak for the teach, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they'd have a fucking problem with that, dude. But I don't know though. I mean, it's a liberal ass world nowadays, and it's 2018. So I mean, you know, they might even, you know, why do you have oregano? Let me go to the car.
Dude, that's a good point. I thought, see, the only thing
I
that
mean, if
makes
they can
me
have
worry,
transgender bathrooms, why the fuck can't we have real marijuana? Like, honestly, like, let's ask ourselves that.
I don't understand why we could have fucking coffee and allow kids to be drinking it, but not let them use weed.
Dude, that's part of the fucking problem. Kids drinking fucking coffee all the fucking time.
I don't drink coffee, bro. I don't fuck with coffee because
I
I
barely
don't like
ever
hot
do, bro.
drinks. I like cold drinks a lot. So I've been fortunate enough to avoid a liking for coffee. I will admit though, caffeine, I like caffeine. Like caffeine's nice, but I try not to drink soda, and I guess the only form of caffeine I get otherwise is from G Fuel. So, and I don't
Oh,
even
by the way,
drink that every
yeah,
day.
everyone should stop drinking G Fuel. Actually, they have a lawsuit against them right now because it was found that they willingly have lead in their product, knowingly.
Bullshit.
Yeah, yeah, you
Is it
should look it
listed
up.
on the supplement facts?
No, it's not. But it was tested. There's an open lawsuit against them. Somebody tested their product, and it has lead inside of it. And there's something about there were papers that were found, or documents that were found, ingredients, and like I'm talking like a whole FDA fucking giant
Ooh, no,
case
this
type
isn't
thing,
good.
dude.
I
Yeah,
hope they don't, because I'll go throw this shit out right now.
you should look it up.
I'll go tell my
I've heard a
friends to do
lot
this.
of
I just looked it
information.
up right now.
I mean, I haven't fully researched it, but I've heard a lot about it.
Highlighting a lawsuit filed by the Environmental Research Center, who claimed under California law, G Fuel's parent company, Gamma Labs, have been allegedly... Damn. Yeah, it says here that the Environmental Research Center claimed under Californian law that G Fuel's parent company Gamma Labs have been allegedly producing, packaging, and selling products that contain more than the safe harbor daily dosage of lead, as defined in California's Proposition 65.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, that is...
And you know, lead, that shit, like, bro, they've changed paint back in the day. They've changed, like, a lot of shit because lead was, like, you know, lead poisoning is real, dude. Like, that shit can kill you.
I would like to explain how it relates to G Fuel. I'd like everybody to know that my kids into... Yeah, I don't know, man. That kind of bothers me, bro. Like, because, okay, the CEO of G Fuel said this. I would like to...
Stop!
I've poured my heart and soul into the
You press the
business.
middle button.
My kids and entire family drink G Fuel. I stand behind the product. Here are the facts.
Well, of course the CEO is going to say something
Yeah,
like that.
like,
He stands to lose
I'm not-
millions of dollars.
I'm not trying to sit here and say that, oh, he's right because he said, he doesn't do it, but I don't know, man. I might go throw out the rest of what I have. I've still drank. I mean, it's not like I've drank a lot of G Fuel in my life. Like, I think this is only the second tub I've ever had, and each
Yeah.
tub has 40 servings. But I probably won't buy it again now that I know that. And that's just
Yeah, and
like,
it's probably not going to hurt you if you're just a random buyer of it. But like, if you're one of those people who drinks G Fuel,
who's
like
a habitual user.
that,
Yeah.
and there are people like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know. That would make, if I were a habitual G Fuel user, I probably wouldn't use it anymore, knowing that personally.
Yeah, I mean, isn't lead carcinogenic, so
I
it
believe
causes
so.
cancer?
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm gonna stop drinking this shit then. I'm gonna go throw that out. I mean, okay, so this is funny too. During cancer, I openly smoked blunts all the time, and I never thought anything of it, and I just kind of gave myself the reassurance like, oh, nothing bad's gonna happen to me because I'm getting chemo, so it's not like any carcinogens I get now are gonna hurt me because the chemo's gonna kill it. Now that the chemo's over, though, I've been pretty, like, skeptical with what I've been putting in my body because if I had the option, I wouldn't smoke blunts anymore. I've strictly tried to stick with,
I'll be
like,
right back,
smoking
Mark. Hold on.
joints. Yeah, of course. Heard your bitch, you got that water. Hey, Fruit?
Yeah.
I'll be back in like 30 minutes to an hour, alright?
Alright.
Alright. Just let Rob know, alright?
Alright. You know.
Alright. I appreciate it. I'll send you a Snapchat whenever I'm on my way home, assuming you're in the party. Just let me know if you're not.
Okay.
Alright, man. Have a good one. It was fun chatting with you guys.
Boy, oh boy, dude, my fucking kids, dude. Especially with this
But yeah,
little girl.
Mark left to go do something. He said he'd be back in like an hour-ish.
Oh. Fucking son and this girl keep fucking arguing all the time. It's so fucking annoying. It's like, our kids nowadays, dude, they're so fucking pathetic, dude. Like, God, when I was a kid, motherfuckers just gave me the boot and told me to get my ass outside. If I wanted to use the bathroom, there was like, there's a fucking tree. I'm thirsty. There's a goddamn water hose. Like nowadays, kids be playing on 50-inch screen TVs in the fucking air conditioning on PlayStations in the comfort of their home, never having to do anything, and they bitch and cry and whine. It's pathetic, dude. It's so pathetic. Like, ugh. I can't believe nobody's looking up Farcry map editor.